Do you have that in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record record that the witness has refused to answer whether there's a folder in front of him based on his Fifth Amendment right. Have you refused this pardon, or do you have any reason to believe this full and unconditional pardon, this grant of immunity, would somehow require you to plead the Fifth Amendment?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Do you still refuse to answer the questions?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Were you ever made aware of gain-of-function research on monkeypox being conducted at the National Biodefense Analysis and Countermeasure Center, NBAC, at Fort Detrick?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Dr. Fauci, did the CIA ever transfer funds to NIH under an interagency agreement?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Questions. Dr. Fauci, did the NIH ever conduct research for or in coordination with any element of the intelligence community, CIA, ODNI?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Do you have that in front of you?
All right, Shalom, Mike Yom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching the word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And today, I just want to get into a lesson concerning how the wicked will not get away. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all these atrocities this man have done throughout the centuries, he's not going to ride off in the sunset. He's not going to get off with a slap on the wrist. This nigga can't bring forth this digital system, this new world order, and everybody just forget about it. All these things this nigga have done. No, this devil he's about to be, actually we in the time of his judgment. The so-called white man in his judgment. And there's nothing he can do to get around it. Now, as you can see, this clip I played, this guy, Fauci, this nigga was behind pretty much convincing the people to take that thing. You know, this nigga is the one that came up with the 6 feet rule in this hearing. When they were going through the nigga diaries, they were saying in his diary the nigga made up the 6 feet rule. Like, he just came up with something on the fly. And even in his memoirs, he was even lying in the memoirs. So it just show you, and then out of all that, the nigga being questioned on these things, according to the constitutional right, the nigga just plead the fifth. He ain't gotta answer no question. And of course, you know, this nigga ain't finna do a bid. But at the end of the day, you know, how about Shimon Shah gonna judge this nigga, man? And I ain't talking about Fauci, I'm talking about Esau, Edom as a whole, the nation of Edom, as well as these other nations. But he's in power. He's that Mount Seir right now, man. So let's start off with this in the book of Wisdom of Solomon 1 and verse 7. It reads, "For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things have knowledge of the voice. Therefore he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid." And that's what's happening. Since this light settled upon the planet Earth, the unrighteous cannot be hid. And it said, he that speaketh unrighteous things. And this nigga write those unrighteous decrees when People's jobs and shit was compromised. Families and shit was broken up because of the counsel of Esau. You know, this nigga told you had to wear a mask. You had to, depending on where you was at or region or concerning, you had to enter a certain establishment. You had to show proof you took that jab. As well as, and that's just one aspect of this nigga speaking unrighteous things, these laws and legislation that's on the books from the nigga giving the green light to Mose, even him, you got the FDA, and them niggas green light pork, and they green light so many bugs in your food and rat droppings and shit. So you can say that all the problems on the earth, it goes back to the so-called white man. Once you see things, you know, in righteousness, you don't have no choice but to see the wickedness. Once the light turn on, you see what's really going on. You find out what this stench was. And as it says, neither shall vengeance when it punisheth pass by him. See? And that's why in these modern times you have missiles. And even when you go into simulations of World War III, it's always an American city as the template, because this is the main event. This is the venue the Lord have chosen to show his power. America, Babylon the Great. So when them missiles being shot off, they're gonna jump over these other countries to hit America, even the allies of America. So it's gonna be missiles flying over Europe to get to America. Babylon the Great, though I said that vengeance is not gonna pass by. It says, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly. And it's happening in this profession with the prophets. When you go into that inquisition, it goes into pretty much a long, drawn-out investigation. So you could see even, that was a form of it, they was, inquiring of Fauci, questioning, and those intense questioning. But that's really taking place with the prophets in his perfection, man. Shining light on this man and his atrocities. Well, Esau, where he at today, let's see how he get to where he at. Through rape, robbery, and murder, man. And it's no different today. When that nigga came up with that Crown Vic and these regulations and rules and all, that nigga knew exactly what he was doing to keep his head above water. Now, if people come to find out they part spider and squirrel and shit, because what was in these jabs, you think that nigga Bill Gates is gonna Gil Bates, you think that nigga finna get charged on something? You think that nigga found that? That's all a show. It says, and the sound of his word shall come unto the Lord for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. See, at the end of the day, the Lord's gonna judge these devils, man. That nigga can plead the fifth and put a show on, but at the end of the day, Yahweh Shema Shai gonna get this devil. He's not gonna ride off in the sunset. No, really, this nigga judgment is just beginning. And it's starting with these elites. They're being troubled in the mind with this message. And it has triggered down to these people. These people are being troubled. It's some in there out. They don't know what. They at least know why. So that judgment now, then World War III. And then after, ain't like that's it. It's something after that's gonna be taking place after World War III. It ain't gonna be like no Mad Max. Every man for himself for the next 50. No, man. It's gonna be a new system set up in the earth. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, Sirach 16, and I started verse 11. It reads, "And if there be one stiff neck among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished." And yeah, because when you read up on it, it's really talking about how the Lord didn't let Israel slide. The Lord didn't let Israel slide from back then. Talk about it concerning the time of the flood or in the wilderness. So how much more now? How much more the other nations and the nation whom the Lord hates, man? The Edomites. It is marvel he escaped unpunished. So even with this nigga Fauci, I said this nigga Gill, and his boy Mayo, yeah, they can get away in this system. This is a wicked system. This is a wicked society. But they ain't gonna escape y'all by some outside. A nigga can put a show on all day. Yeah, and that nigga Epstein. They came up with this elaborate. This nigga he had a global pedo ring. Yet that nigga hung himself with some bed sheets. And that's the end of that story. He escaped. Now, Lord gonna get that nigga. Lord gonna get all these devils. Those even you'll have Jake be so tied up in their emotions, concerning slavery. A damn slave owner was one of the worst niggas ever. And the nigga died peacefully on his deathbed and all that. That's why the nigga back now. And even in the kingdom of heaven, these devils gonna get their judgment. So they're not gonna escape. They're not gonna ride off in the sunset, man. All this wickedness these devils have done. The Lord didn't slide with he didn't let his people slide. So what you think he gonna do to these nations, man? Especially the one he hates, the arch enemy. It says, "For mercy and wrath are with him. He is mighty to forgive and to pour out displeasure." And Lord, mighty to forgive, that's on display by him giving us this word. This is the mercy of Yahweh Shema Shai. I talked about that, how he sent forth the prophets because he had compassion on his people. And then to pour out displeasure, that's going to be in the form of these plagues. Lord, it's going to be a flood of plagues and ultimately the destruction. It says, "As his mercy is great, so is correction also. He judges a man according to his works. The sinner shall not escape with his spoils." See? Yeah, because that's what this nigga think. This nigga is trying to come up with the perfect heist to hijack the world. And he's doing it through wars and pestilences. You know how them elaborate bank robbery moves, nigga got the time watches, and you got a hacker, and nigga celebrating before he crossed the goalpost. And that's why the scripture says that he's going to rain upon him while he is eating. It says, "And the patience of the godly shall not be frustrated." And ultimately, this goes hand in hand concerning the sinner and the godly and their desires. Because one desire being met, the other is the detriment to the other. So the sinner not escaping with the spoils, that's part of the patience of the godly. Our hope is for this nigga not to win. If he lose, that means we win. and vice versa. If he win, that means we lose. That's why the scripture talk about first not his device, lest they exalt themselves. But at the end of the day, the scripture talk about how he shall not escape. He's not going to get away. So this put on this show a nigga pleading the fifth. The Lord gonna get this man. The Edomites. Because justice will prevail. That nigga Cristobal Colon, the Lord gonna get that nigga. George Washington, all these prominent Edomites, and just a fucking six-pack, Joe six-pack. All these devils gonna get their judgment. But especially these prominent noblemen, the nobles of Edom, the dukes of Edom. Nah, them niggas really got something coming to them. This is Psalms 58. I start at verse 10 and read, "The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. So that a man shall say, verily, there is a reward for the righteous. Verily, he is a power that judgeth in the earth." See? So at the end of the day, Yahweh Shema Shai gonna show that he's a power that judges in the earth. He's a true righteous judge. And it said, "The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance." So that show you that the wicked is not gonna be, man. It's still Walmarts and shit, and stop lights, these damn fluorescent lights, just everything. Lord about to uproot this place and get this devil out of here and his influence. But he's gonna be paid back for all these atrocities that he have done. He ain't gonna be say he's sorry. He ain't gonna be able to just. You on TV, you on court, getting grilled, and all thing you do is say you plead the fifth, and guess what? In a few weeks, these people just that shit gonna be in their back pocket. You know what I mean? They looking forward to college football finna start now. So that just show you, man, this fucking place gotta go. This endless loop of stupidity. These people being, in this loop. These Edomites running circles around these people trying to keep his head above water. The Lord finna stop all that, man. So yeah, I just hope this will edify and like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. This teaching's word on true faith and sincerity. Shalom.